Yo guys, it's up Shadow here and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers on an empty planet. What is going on? Well, update time! Surprise update! At least for me, surprisingly. Yes, the Most Wanted update just dropped, I think, a few days ago. Or was it already a week? I'm bad with dates. Anyway, so, a free update with a lot of new blocks that people have been requesting apparently for quite a time. Some of these I'm really happy to see, some of which, you know, a little bit surprising, but yeah, let's take a look at them. And I don't really have to segment this because there's no DLC for this. This is just a completely free update. Although, one has to say, a few of the blocks obviously are kind of locked behind the responding DLC the original blocks were for. We'll talk about these when we come to them. So, here we are. This is all the stuff that is new. Well, kind of like in a nutshell. Let's start with new armor blocks. These come in big and small, and they come in heavy and light. So these are found under these here, these corners here, and there's a lot of interesting stuff here, especially these blocks here that are half height blocks with then on top a like this block combined with a half block, stuff like this. This is very, very interesting and will allow for a interesting amount of or a varied amount of new shapes in shipbuilding and base building, which is really exciting. So this is amazing. I love that. I'm generally a fan of new block types. You almost can never go wrong with new types of blocks, right? So yeah. And then one of my personal favorites, the T section on conveyors, and this comes in big and small, and it comes for the normal conveyor and the industrial conveyor. So this, for example, is a block that's locked. At least I think it is locked. I cannot really check because I don't have an account where there is no DLC installed, but it's probably locked behind the normal industrial pipe. There we go, industrial. That's locked behind, or is it? Hold on. Conveyor. There we go, the conveyor pipe. This one. I think that's locked behind DLC, isn't it? So this one would be as well. But still, you know, it's nice. So we have it both for the base game and the DLC then. Which is neat. And T-sections I've been looking forward so much to, because there's so many times where I have to put like a conveyor block, but I feel conveyor blocks are really ugly because they leave a lot of like open conveyor ports that are not used. This is a bit more closed in itself. Of course, now that we have this, there's a whole bunch more varieties that we could wish for, obviously. For example, we could wish for just a cross section. We could wish for, I don't know, a T-section with one that goes in this direction, one that goes in this direction, a star shape that goes in every direction, which is basically like a conveyor block but smaller. But the T-section itself, that will, in my opinion, fix a lot of designs, because a lot of designs are a bit awkward. With the conveyor blocks, this will make a lot of things a bit prettier. Right, then we got a little decoration thing, inward desks. So desks that curve inward with and without chair. I like that. Because you had to kind of almost build these yourself, but you couldn't really because they would take so much space if you put like a corner desk and then like desks next to it and trying to connect it to those corner desks. They would never really look good and it would take up a lot of space. So this is nice. I like that. Very lovely. And then with conveyors, there's these things, which I cannot quite get a read on, to be honest. These are reinforced conveyors, and there's three. Well, let me show you. Reinforced. There's several of them. There's the reinforced conveyor tube, reinforced conveyor, curved conveyor tube, and reinforced conveyor tube T-junction, and then the small versions of that as well. Actually, let me just grab a small version just to show. So there we go. That's the small version. And they're interesting. If you can see this one, the normal one, it has basically 3 sides that are completely enclosed and then one that is slightly exposed with an X, like here, right? And then the curved ones have almost the same thing. They have closed side, and then closed side on the bottom. And then we have the T section with the same. Now, first when I saw these, I thought these were weird, because I couldn't really imagine building something with them. But then I realized you probably, at least in my opinion, are supposed to either put these on the floor in a ship, or maybe, you know, like in a corridor. When you have a conveyor running along a corridor above your head, you can now fit these in and have them almost kind of neatly hidden away above you, you know, with that X. Or you can turn them around completely and have it like this, so they're completely hidden. So you kind of have a choice here, which is neat, in my opinion. So, yeah, they're interesting. At first I was kind of confused because I didn't really saw a reason for them, but now I kind of see where they would fit. You know, more like interior design, not like exposed piping at the outside of a ship you want to reinforce. If we compare these to normal conveyor tubes, if you see a normal conveyor tube here, this has 6 motors, 10 small tubes, 20 construction, and 10 interior pipes. This one has a little bit more and steel plate, so this is more sturdy in theory, but again, I wouldn't use these for outside use. They look really weird because of the one exposed side. I guess, honestly, I know I'm kind of like a beggar that it's just got a free meal and then he's just like, oh, where is my dessert? I'm kind of like that right now, but I wish there was a version where all sides were enclosed, so you almost could hide them away completely, like almost camouflage them as normal blocks. I guess you can kind of do that if you have at least one side, you know, wherever you place them. If you have at least one side that has another block next to it, then you can put the X towards that side, then they're completely hidden. But again, I kind of, you know, I'm not trying to wish for too much. We already got just a free update, so I'm not trying to be overbearing here. But you know, just saying. Okay, next, neon tubes. There's 2 things. For one, there's now small neon tubes. And there's 3 new neon tubes, which is the T section, the circle crossroad section, and the U section. So, yeah, I love that. A bit more variety. You can make a little bit more complicated shapes with it, which is nice. So, yeah, cool. What next? We have these things here, which are... Well, one of them is actually one that already existed. These are the covers. But now you have a mirrored cover. So there's the normal one. That's the mirrored one. Because there was always the problem with that half cover. You know, if you had like... Let's say you had 2 cover walls coming from 2 sides. And then you wanted to like end them with half covers. So there's a wall coming from this side. Or rather from this side here. You put the half cover here. Right, there's the normal wall cover, here's the half cover, and then you have a wall from this side. Well shit, that doesn't work. And now, boom, fixed. So that's neat. Also, you can make these like almost offset looking walls. I like it. It's a nice little addition, and you know, I'll talk about this a little bit later. It feels like a lot of this stuff was like... I don't want to like demean it, but it's a lot of these things are like low effort, tiny things that make people happy, and I like stuff like that. So there you go. There's a new set of windows, and first we'll talk about these windows, the one with the cover windows, whatever you want to call them. So there's a half or a quarter circle window, which is neat. As far as I've seen, they do not come in inverted, which is fine for the second one, this one here, which is the diagonal one, because you can, you know, you can turn it wherever direction you want to turn it. But for, obviously for the other one, there's no inversion here. It doesn't really bother me too much, but it just, again, I'm just noting what I'm seeing here. But yeah, it's nice. I feel in Space Engineers in general, rounded designs have suffered, or not suffered, but were not really represented in the past very well, because we don't have that many rounded blocks. Or, well, we have rounded blocks like this, but not a lot to fit with it, and they really help out designers with this one, and the new window blocks over here. Look at those. These are amazing. I love these so much. So we have basically this variant here, this again quarter circle block in normal and inverted, then the corner block normal and inverted, the inverted corner block normal and inverted, and then this little slice here as well. That's so cool. You can do so many interesting designs with those, and they seamlessly will fit into the already existing half-round blocks, you know, these ones. So you can do a lot more interesting new designs with these. I love that. So that's a great thing. You can find them under, where are they? The round windows here. Now they also come in small block as well, by the way, which again, lovely. For small block vehicles, I can really see interesting designs cropping up. You know, like a rover with a seat, and then you have the cockpit with these rounded blocks at the top. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with these, I'm sure. And people will get creative with those, for sure. Alright. What else? We have stairs. No, sorry. Ladders. But this time with a shaft attached to them. So that's what it looks like. So you have basically a ladder in a what were they called? In a passage, I think. Yeah, in a passage, basically. And let me make day real quick again and clear the weather if I can. Day, weather, clear. There we go. Thank you. Enclosed in a passage, and at one side you have this intermediate floor here, which is kind of neat, because before, let's say before you wanted to have like a design where you have let's just try and recreate this here. You have a wall, and then get a ladder. Let me actually just get this here. Let's say you have a freaking ladder, right? And you want basically a design where there's several floors, and you want people to exit onto several floors. Now, because the ladder is already taking up one of the spaces, you have to design it something like this, right? So there's a huge gap from the ladder to the actual platform, and it doesn't look very nice. It looks a little bit like a waste of space. It's kind of awkward, to say the least, right? And with that ladder shaft thing here now, you have these little like floors here already built in, so you also can now walk way closer to the ladder and activate it. I mean, yeah, it's I like it. It's pretty awesome. So you climb up, and then well, I climbed too far now I'm on top of it, of course, but climb to the middle ground, and technically it should throw you out onto the middle bit. There we go, like this. So it is functionally technically working, but you have to exit at the right, there we go, at the right height, otherwise it will throw you like weirdly about. But yeah, like this, just a simple thing, but it enables so many more intricate designs, in my opinion. So that's a really big one, this here. Right. What else do we have? We have new rails. These are new angle of rails, for one. Let me just get the rail here so you can compare. There also, of course, was a diagonal rail already. There we go, the diagonal. Let me place it. But you can see this is a different angle. This is more, as with the normal blocks, you have the normal like slope angles, the diagonal angles, and then you have the less slopey angles where you need 2 blocks to create a nice slope. So this is the rail equivalent of that. That's neat. And then this one, which is a straight rail, but it is off center. Or it is not off center, it is center actually. So you can see I can make a T-rail here, technically. If I place this right now. So he's in the center of the block. You can see him placing it right next to it there. So that, again, 2 simple blocks allow a lot more creative designs with rails. And they kind of fit now onto different kind of blocks. You know, which before you couldn't have railings on. You know, these blocks here. If you created some sort of like edge like this, you couldn't put railings on that before. Well, you could, but they would look like this, for example. Now, with this, you obviously have to rotate them the right way. Boom! There you go. Sweet. I love that. That, again, lots more design choices to make now with this. And then we have this. Half-sized walkways in different flavors. In bare, double-railed, single-railed on each side. Again, nice little thing that will give us a little bit more variety. Especially because, let's say, the industrial... where is it? The industrial refinery. There we go. Let me just place that real quick. Somewhere. There we go. You know, you had like things like here, where there is this small rail axis here, or the small catwalk axis, which is nice, but we didn't have any interesting catwalk to connect to it. You know, you could put technically, I guess, maybe this one you could put to it and then get into a full-sized catwalk. But now you can do this and have this nice little catwalk like that. Now you have to be a bit careful with the, for one, with the side the railing is on and the side the actual block is on. It can probably make designing a bit difficult. And also there's no corner block. So you cannot really take corners with these, you know. You can potentially you can do this, but then you don't have a rail here. So again, it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm not, I'm just giving input. There's something missing, like where there's a rail here. And obviously there's a mirrored version of all of that missing. But hey, who knows, maybe they'll do a Most Wanted 2, right? Where they'll address stuff like that. And there's one thing more, actually, I haven't placed this yet. Where is it? Oh, there it is, the plushie. The Space Engineers plushie. It's a small block thing. So you can place it on small blocks like this. And on large blocks it doesn't seem to stick. But it's neat. It's a little plushie. It's kind of cute. I mean, yeah, I you know, it's kind of stuff like that. For me, I won't be using that a lot, but I kind of like it. Like little cutesy stuff like that. I don't mind. And obviously, you can color it whatever you want it. There you go. Isn't it cute? Let me actually put that. Oh yeah, there's something else I haven't shown yet. I just realized because it's only small block. But we'll come to that. Small block, there's a few more things that are exclusively small block, and one of which is this. The conveyor converter. So you can see this converts a small conveyor to a big conveyor. Now, why would you want to use that is the question. Because normally you either use just big conveyors or just small conveyors because, you know, for some reason, big conveyors, for example, if you use the conveyor system to transport actual components, then small for example, the oars. But sometimes you have situations where you have like a connector which uses a big conveyor, and then you somehow either have to put the big conveyor onto a block and then just use these side ports here and connect it like that. But now you can just basically, you know, put it like this, boom, and then have small conveyors run internally. So you can completely block all of these entrances to the side so you don't see any conveyors, which is nice. Again, gives us a bit more design choices to deal with, which I really like. The other small block that was added was a small advanced rotor. We had small rotors before, but only normal small rotors. So the ones without conveyor ports, which means for small vehicles, making guns meant that you would have to put the magazine up into the gun turret, which, you know, kind of a risk, because once the magazine is hit, everything goes boom. Especially now with the new update where if something is filled with explosives, it is actually going haywire if you shoot it. This is almost now a necessity for gun turrets, so I'm glad they put that in. So yeah, what else? I think I've missed something. Oh yeah, there's also now an inverted corner window. You know, cockpit window, I think they called this. So there's now an inverted version of that. Oh yeah, there it is. So this here, the bridge window face inverted. So this connects very nicely to all the other pieces that we had. I think we only had like this and this. No, these two pieces we had. So I think I also complained about that one in the last video. Which is interesting that they now put that in. So, neat, thank you. So now you can do these diagonal bridge windows like that. That is cool, isn't it? Very nice. Okay, so that's all of the blocks in here. There's also something more that has been added, and that's 2 new skins. This one, which is called the welderless skin. There it is, weldless. Which is interesting because you might not be able to see this, but this is light armor, this is heavy armor. You can barely see the difference, which is interesting. So this completely gets rid of any sort of texture almost. It's like completely clean. Well, not clean, because clean armor still looks a lot different than that, you know? For example, if we put some clean armor next to it, you'll see what I mean. So this is clean armor. It's still kind of, you know, the same thing, but it has these structures. So if you don't like these randomly generated structured things, then this is the armor set for you, which is nice. Again, heavy armor and light armor are not that easily distinguishable. I think the heavy armor has these weird scratches that you see here. Oh wait, that's the wrong set. There we go. Yeah, you can see these like scratchings. That's what the heavy armor is. It's kind of weird, but I guess that works. I mean, you have to differentiate it somehow. And then the second one is, where is it? This one. Corrugated armor. So this has this interesting looking structure to it. This is light armor, and then this is heavy armor. So these are a bit more beefy. It kind of looks like a garage door to me, you know? With little, like, folds here and here with the big, like, rectangular or more edgy folds almost. It looks very neat, very structural, cool. What I don't quite understand is how do I control which direction these things go? And that has been like a problem with a few different skins so far. Now, if I put this on a non-existent grid, I can kind of see in the preview now, oh, this goes upwards. So I place it, and then that's how it is. And then, oddly enough, there's one sideways here. Upwards, sideways. So they always kind of change. The thing is, if you have already a placed grid, that doesn't work. There, the orientation is already predetermined by whatever you have already placed, even if it's another armor set. So if I change this, you can see it's the same orientation. So if you want to build something with this in mind, even if it's only a few blocks that you want to place somewhere, you know, let's say you make like a garage door and you want it to have this orientation, you almost have to build the garage door first to make sure that it's the right orientation. It's kind of weird in that way, but yeah, I don't know what defines this, or if there's not a way where it could be the same orientation all the way around. Again, it would even be better if you could paint like single surfaces of a block with different, you know, skins of armor, but again, I'm complaining about a free update and it feels really bad. Believe me, it does. So, yeah, what can we say? I mean, this is a freaking awesome update, in my opinion. My most beloved things in here are this thing, the T conveyor, that's awesome. The rounded windows and the shaft here. And from a technical standpoint, these two blocks are amazing to have. The small rotor and the conveyor converter. So, yeah. Again, there's a few blocks kind of locked behind certain other DLCs, if I remember correctly. I think neon tubes are a DLC, if I'm right? I'm not 100% sure anymore. I think they were... everything with a symbol is a DLC, right? So neon tubes are a DLC. This is technically behind the DLC. Let's see, the armor, the bridge windows, and what else? I think that's it. That's the blocks that are behind the DLC, the corresponding DLC, and I think these windows too. Yes, these as well. So if you see something in this update and you really want it, then maybe it's kind of clever in a way, because it kind of incentivizes you to buy a certain DLC if you don't already have it. I'm not sure if that was the big intention. I'm not saying it was, but it must have played a little bit of a role, I suppose. But again, complaining about a free update, am I? So, with that, I think I'll leave this for today. Looking forward to using some of these in future builds. Again, I love having tools added to my toolbox, even if some of them I'll probably never use, but still, knowing that they're there for potential use is amazing. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and take care.